Dear students, today we are going to learn physics. In physics, I am going to teach gravitation, right? Because gravitation also plays a major role in your competitive examinations, and this topic is also very simpler, right? Okay. Physics, gravitation. So you will be well aware of gravitation, right? So in gravitation, we are going to see about gravity, gravitation, acceleration due to gravity, right? What is gravity? Gravity, the difference between gravity and gravitation. First of all, when gravity occurs, so when there is a earth surface, right? The earth surface, near the earth surface, if there is an object, because of this earth's earth's having a gravitational force, this gravitational force pulls this body towards the earth. So when this body is moving towards the earth, its velocity increases. Its velocity increases. If there is a change in the velocity, what happens? There is an acceleration. So to define gravity, what I can say is that if there is a gravity pull because of the earth surface, if an object is falling towards the earth, that you call it as gravity. Gravitation is between any two objects. The attractive force between any two objects is the gravitation. For example, you can see, so there are two different objects. So this is object A and this is object B. This is mass m and this is mass m1 and mass m2. So this is in space, that is, this is in universe. Because of these two objects, so naturally there is a gravitational force between these two objects when they are separated at a distance r. And when you consider this only object, when this is falling towards the earth, because of the earth's gravity, this object is being pulled, that you call it as gravity. Gravitation, it is the gravitational force between the two objects. And acceleration due to gravity, because of the body falling towards the earth's surface, when this body is falling, this has change in the velocity, and this change in velocity produces acceleration, which you call it as acceleration due to gravity. Then what is free fall? Free fall is nothing but due to the earth's gravity force. If an object is falling near the surface of the earth, that object we call it as free falling object. That is, due to the earth's gravitational force near the earth's surface from a certain height, if an object is falling, that you call it as a free fall of the object. And now, what is this gravitational force? Is there any other force? Yes, there are four different forces. One is the gravitational force, next is the electromagnetic force, gravitational force, next is the electromagnetic force, next is the strong nuclear force, and fourth is the weak nuclear force. Among these, gravitational force is the weakest force of the four forces in nature. Gravitational force is the weakest force of the four forces in nature. And the acceleration due to gravity, g, is given as 9.8 meter per second square. Now we are going to calculate what is the gravitational force exists between two different masses, right? So I am saying that, so there is an object here which is of mass m1, and there is an object here which is of mass m2. So they are separated in a space of distance r, right? For any objects in the universe, because of these two masses separated by a distance, there is a force of attraction which you call it as gravitational force. This is given by Newton. And you call this law as Newton's law of gravitation. I am explaining Newton's law of gravitation. See here, let us consider an object is here of mass m1, an object is here of mass m2. They are separated by a distance r. So this force exerted between these two objects, F, is directly proportional to m1 and m2, and they are inversely proportional to the distance between them. So what I can say is that force the gravitational force is directly proportional to product of the masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. So to remove this proportionality, I am introducing a constant called G. So F equal to G m1 m2 divided by r square. So this is the proportionality constant, gravitational constant. You call it as gravitational constant. Alright, so gravitational constant. The value of your gravitational constant G is equal to 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. Alright, so gravitational constant Newton, this is mass meter, so you will get G is equal to F r square divided by m1 m2, so that is Newton meter square kg minus 2. So this is your gravitational constant value G. So now because of these two masses separated in space of a distance r, we can calculate the force between these two, which is directly proportional to the masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So I had calculated this F. So I can represent this force in G m1 m2 divided by r square, and my gravitational constant is given here. Now what is the unit of this gravitational constant? Unit of this gravitational constant is Newton meter square kg minus 2. And in some cases this gravitational constant, if this represented in CGS system, you will get G equal to 6.67 into 10 power minus 8. Instead of Newton, you will get dyne centimeter square gram minus 2. So this is your gravitational constant in the CGS system, right? So we can calculate force and the value of gravitational constant is identified, alright? So now the same thing when it is being represented in vector notation, what will happen? So I am going to represent, see for example, this is one important aspect in with respect to your sums when you are solving in the examination. For example, let us consider, here I am considering mass m1, right? This is my mass m1 and this is my mass m1 and m2. So there are two forces acting between these two different masses, right? So if I am saying on object A, the force is due to this object. On object B, the force is due to this object. So what I am doing is that here I am taking my object A and here I am taking my object B. This object is of mass m1 and this object is of mass m2, right? So what is happening because of these two forces? There is a gravitational force of attraction between these masses. So my direction of force of attraction in this direction. So what I am doing is the force is F1, 2, which means the force on this object is due to the force on this. So for your convenience, what I can also write, I can write it as FAB, which means the force on A is due to the force exerted by object B. And similarly here, what I can write is F21, which is equal to FB of A. That is, the force on B is due to object A. The force on B is due to object A. But what is the other case is that the force is exerting, the distance between these is R. The distance between these is R. So here what I am writing is R1 of 2 is the directional vector and R2 of 1 is the directional vector. So this is the distance between A and B, and this is the distance from B to A, right? And this is distance from A to B. So what I am saying, the force F12, the force F12 is equal to G m1 m2 divided by R square from R to 1 cap. So the force on 1 due to 2 is acting in which direction? It is acting in the reverse direction. Because of that, I am introducing a sign called minus, negative sign. In the similar way, F21 vector, this is equal to minus of G m1 m2 divided by r square r12 cap, which means the force on 2 due to 1 is acting in the opposite direction of r12. r12 is a distance from A to B. So this is a way that you can learn these forces in the vector notations. You can learn the forces in the vector notations. So what I can say is that from this force on A and the force on B due to their opposite actions, I can say this is action reaction pair. What I can say is that this you call it as action reaction pair. Action reaction pair, right? So when you calculate in some sense, the gravitational force is acting perpendicular to the earth surface, it is an vector. It is an vector. So any object falling towards the surface of the earth, it is perpendicular and it has a direction, it you represent in a vector. So due to action reaction pair, what I can write is this R21 is equal to minus of R12 and F21 is equal to minus of F12. So these you can call it as action reaction pair. Action reaction pair. So I think I am not taking you in a difficult way. So the notation, because of these two objects, so this is of mass m1 and this is of mass m2, an object, here there is one object, these two objects exerts force on each other. I am representing the force. If this is object A and this is object B, the force on this object is exerted by this B, that I am writing FAB, which means force on A is due to B. Here force on B is due to A. Now my direction is in which direction? My direction of this force A on B is in the opposite direction, it is R21. My direction of force B to A is R12. So these I am representing this in the equation, right? F12 here and here F21. These are my two equations. And I had given the reason why it is negative sign, because of this action and reaction pair which is acting in the opposite direction. I am giving you these results, right? Now, since it is a vector, if there are too many objects, right, acting on a object, what are the forces? How will we calculate the net resultant force? So since it is a vector, we can do it in a resultant form. For example, there is one object here, there is an object here, another one object here and another one object here. So let us say this one as m1, this my m2, this my m3 and this my m4. Now you should be in a position to tell me what are the forces acting because of m1 and m2, right? Let us say this distance between this is r. The distance is r. This distance is r. And this distance is r. So force acting on m1. So let us say this object is A, this object is B and this object A, B, C, D, and for your convenience you have m1, m2, m3, m4. What I can say is force on 1 is due to what? Due to 2. But acting in which direction? It is acting in the opposite direction, force on 1, which is of R21 cap. Right? Here force on 1 is due to what? Due to 3, and the acting direction is what? R3 of 1, that is unit direction. Here the force on 1 is due to what? Due to 4, right? The direction is from R41 cap. Now I want to find my net resultant force. The net resultant force F vector is equal to F1 vector plus F2 vector plus F3 vector. So what is my F1 vector? F1 vector is F12 vector, right, plus F13 vector plus F14 vector. So my summation, my net force to calculate, I am writing formula for each and everything. F12 vector is equal to my G gravitational constant mass m1 m2 divided by this r square, that is r square, the distance r21 cap, and here F13 is equal to G m1 m3, the distance r square, the unit vector r31. F14 is equal to G m1 m4 divided by r square r41 cap. So when you substitute all this, you will get your net force. This you call it as, that is the principle of superposition. Principle of superposition. Principle of superposition. Alright. So this is a way that you can calculate the net force acting on different masses on one particular mass. So this you call it as the principle of superposition. I hope you understand what I am trying to tell you. So from the basic fundamental principle, you can calculate these forces. Right? So these forces, when you are calculating in magnitude, you can neglect this minus sign, right? Because this is acting in the opposite direction, right? So that is F12, this is acting in the opposite direction, it is minus F12, this is minus 13, and this is minus F14, right? Okay. Now let us move to the next important aspects of learning this gravitation. Now you have learned the universal law of gravitation. Now I have to tell you few of the concepts regarding gravitation. So gravitation, some of the concepts you have to be very clear. From the universal law of gravitation, what are the things that you can learn? So first and foremost, the Earth's gravity, that's universal law of gravitation explains. Second, so the tides which are happening in the ocean and the sea, it's because of gravitation. Eclipses, lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, which are occurring, it's all because of gravitation. And regarding the characteristics of gravitation, when these two objects are in space and any medium is coming in between, right? So the gravitational force is independent of the medium. So the gravitational force is independent of the medium. So gravitational force always acts between the point masses. Gravitational force always acts between the point masses. Gravitational force is a central force. Gravitational force is a central force, and it possesses the spherical, and it possesses the spherical shape, and it possesses the spherical shape. So this is regarding gravitation. So if any medium is between, that gravitational force is not going to get affected. This gravitational force is being acting between 2 point masses, and these forces you call it as central forces, and they are not going to disturb if there is a change in the size or shape of the object. But the acceleration due to gravity, is different at different places. For example, it varies at height, right? So it varies with rotation of the earth. It varies again at the depth. So the acceleration due to gravity varies at height, it varies with the rotation, and it varies with the depth. So that rotation, you can also call it as it varies with the latitude. So these are the features that you should understand from gravitation. Alright? Okay. So next, I am moving on to explain you regarding the how to determine. For example, right? So here there is an earth surface. So this earth surface is of mass m. This is of radius r. If I want to determine my gravity at this point, or if I want to calculate my force because of this earth surface at this point F, at this point P, F equal to how much? That is, what is my gravitational force between earth surface and an object's placed here. For example, let us consider this is the earth surface of the earth, right? There is one object at this place. I want to find out the gravitational force between these two. How I am going to calculate? This is number one. Second, what I am going to calculate is that I want to calculate what happened if this object is lying on this surface, right? This is of radius r and this earth has mass m. How I am going to calculate the gravitational force between these two. And third, what I am going to do is that I have to calculate my gravitational force, right, at a depth. For example, so this is at a height h, this is on the surface. What will happen here if my object is being located? So what is the gravitational force? To study, so when you are learning gravitation, these aspects should come into your mind when you are approaching the questions. Only then it will be easy for you. Without having these ideas in your mind, if you keep on solving the problems, that will not help you. For example, see, what is the basic fundamental that I can learn out of it? So there is a theory called shell theory. If you understand the shell theory properly, then it will be very useful to find out the force acting between these two objects at different positions. I will explain you about this shell theory. So what your shell theory says? Shell theory, for example, right, for any spherical shell or solid sphere, the fundamental is, the shell theory says, if an object, for example, this is your spherical shell, right? This is your spherical shell. If the spherical shell is of radius r, this object is of mass m. If an object is lying outside the surface, so this distance from the center, so you call this distance as r, which means this r is very much greater than r or equal to r. R is very much greater than r. Then the force acting between these 2 points from the center to this point P, F is equal to g of this mass is m and this mass of this point object is small m, right, divided by r square. This is my force. F equal to g m divided by r square when an object is lying outside this spherical shell. In the similar way, for an object lying outside a solid sphere, so this is a solid sphere, right? This solid sphere is of radius r and an object is lying outside this surface at this point, right? The distance between this point mass small m, this is a mass of m, this distance is r, then still you can say the force acting between the mass m and this capital mass F is equal to g of m divided by r square. The given condition is r is very much greater than r. I hope you are following me, right? Next, solid sphere and spherical shell. Now my question is, what will happen if the same object is lying inside a spherical shell? The same object is lying inside a spherical shell, right? For example, this is my radius r and my object is lying at this position. My object of mass is lying at this position. This is my small r, right? So which means this r is very much less than r. The mass is m and this mass is m. So I can conveniently tell you, if an object is lying inside a spherical shell, the force between these two objects, the gravitational force F is equal to 0, which is very, very important from the examination point of view when you are learning things. The next, the same thing for a solid sphere. So this is solid sphere, this is of radius r. Now the object is lying inside the sphere, which means r is very much less than r. An object is here, right? I want to find out my force. This is at point P. So this is my mass m. The bigger sphere is of mass m, and this smaller sphere I can take it of mass mr. Alright, this point mass, this is of small m. Right, I hope I don't confuse you. Right, I want to calculate when an object is lying inside the solid sphere. Now the force between these two is given by it's not zero. Only in a spherical shell when an object is lying inside the surface it is zero. When you take a solid sphere, F is equal to G, and what is the masses? I am going to consider this mass. This mass is given as m of r into this point mass between these two, m, divided by the length between from the center to this is my small r, which is of r square. So, but still I have my doubt. What is this mr? Mr is nothing but the radius of the place which I had considered. But the difference between mr by m, which is the actual mass, this is equal to, so r cube by r cube. So where I am deriving this, the area of the solid sphere, which is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cube, right, for the general mass m, and for the smaller circle it is 4 by 3 pi of r cube for the smaller mass m of r. So m of r by m will gives you r cube by r cube. So then my equation becomes now this F equal to, I am writing it here, F is equal to G of, instead of m of r I am writing m into r cube by r cube, m into, so another one m is that small m, and my r cube divided by, already there is an r square into r cube, right? So now what I am getting, r square and r square gets cancelled. So F is equal to G m of r divided by r cube. So this is my relation, right, when the object is lying inside a solid sphere, right? So now I have my ideas of calculating. So what will happen when an object lies outside the sphere, spherical shell, and lies outside the sphere? What will happen when an object is lying inside? Here it is inside. So mr, the small object, by this mass m divided by r square. So mr by m, which you will give usage to the total mass r cube by r. So mr is equal to m into r cube, that is mass into mass, r divided by r cube. So I can put it in a note, right, for spherical shell outside, right, for spherical shell and sphere it is F equal to G m divided by r square. For inside, for solid sphere it gives F equal to G of m into r divided by r cube, right? Okay, so now you can take this into consideration and come to our problem which I had given you earlier. So what's the problem I had given you earlier? The task is very simple now. I have to find out my force. So this is my earth surface, right? This is my earth surface. So the radius of this earth surface is r and mass is m. I have to calculate my force at this point P. The object is of mass m. Now this is my length r. You know the condition, r is very much greater than r. If it lying outside, my force F is equal to G m divided by r square, right? So now you can easily find out the answer for this through this shell theory. Okay, next the same thing to find on the where. So if I want to find at a depth, right, inside, when in a solid sphere, right, at this point, At this point, if I want to find out, again, this is my distance r. So this is my distance r, this is m, and this is m of r, and this point mass is m. It is a central force. The forces are acting in the center, and due to the, if it is a spherical shell, the force acting is 0. Now I can get the, what do you call, inside, the object is lying inside a sphere, solid sphere, and my force could be F is equal to G m into r divided by r cube, right? I hope you are convincing with this. So if you have any doubt, just clarify with this theory, that you can easily conclude for an answer what will happen if an object is lying inside a sphere, solid sphere. So it is different for spherical shell and for solid sphere. Now the next comes, so next thing is, so what is happening if an object is lying over here, alright? So now what happens, this is of mass m, this is of radius r, and my r is also this. So F is equal to G m, instead of r squared I am writing, since r is equal to r, I am writing this is r square, G m by r square. Suppose if an object is on the surface of the earth, so its acceleration due to gravity may experience towards the center. So the acceleration due to gravity experienced by the object which is placed on the surface of the earth is given by F is equal to m into g, which is mass into acceleration due to gravity. So I can equate this, right? Listen here. So mg is equal to g of m divided by r square. So my small m gets cancelled. So g is equal to g m divided by r square, which is one of the important results for acceleration due to gravity on the surface of the earth, which is given as g equal to g m by r square, g m by r square. Alright. So we had found out what will happen at the outside, inside, and on the surface of the earth. Alright. So I hope you understand these concepts. Right, in gravitation, these are the important aspects that you should learn. Right. Okay. Followed by that, we will see acceleration due to gravity. So following in the next video class. Right. So now, what are things you have learned? You have learned Newton's law of gravitation. So then you have learned the units out of it. And I left out one thing, in for gravitational constant you can also find out the dimensional analysis. Dimensional analysis you can find out for that. So that is, you have a formula, right? F is equal to G m1 m2 divided by r square. So G is equal to F of r square divided by m1 m2. In some of the cases they may ask you these also. So this force is represented by Newton, right? Here it is mass into acceleration, right? So again this is r square divided by m1 m2. When I'm substituting the units, this is mass. So what I'm doing is, mass is m, acceleration. So acceleration is equal to velocity by time. Velocity is meter by second, but this is time is by second. So meter by second is ms minus 2, which means this is meter, alright, which is length, and this is time, which is t minus 2, that is L1 t minus 2, and you have this r, the distance between the two masses. Again this is length, right, which is L square divided by mass. So m1 and m2 are masses, which is m2, right? This is mass into acceleration, and this is of masses. What I am getting is m2. So when I am taking it to the numerator, what I am getting, this is L cube 2 minus m minus 1 L cube t minus 2 is your dimensional unit for your gravitational constant. This can also may appear in some of the examinations point of view. So if you understand shell theory, you can calculate an object at any position. It is kept on the surface of the earth, on inside the surface of the earth, or inside the earth, any position, when it is a spherical or solid spheres. Right? Thanks for listening. So keep watching the videos to find out acceleration due to gravity at different positions, at altitude, so at depth, so acceleration due to gravity changes due to the shape of the earth, and it changes at an latitude also. Alright, for keep watching it, kindly subscribe to the channel so that you can learn more things effectively. So if you have any suggestion, comments, please drop it. We will put our things more effectively. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Thank you.